Hi, my name is John Lestard, and I'm going to show you how to put together a suction machine and how to troubleshoot it if it's not working properly. First, you want to take a canister and a cover, and you want to make sure that the cover is on securely. It has 3 points that have to be on securely. Push down on one end, push down on the other, and then on the third. Then you want to place your canister into the saddle and make sure it's seating properly. You'll notice here on the blue cover, it has blue writing. It says vacuum here, and it says patient here. It's very hard to see that in a dark room, and a lot of mistakes are made in this area. So the first thing we're going to do now is attach our hoses. You first take a hose, straighten it out, and right here it says to the vacuum. You push down and give it a little twist. I'm going to go around the back of the machine and come up and under to the filter. What's important to note about this filter is if there's any secretions that have been brought into that filter because they filled the canister too much, this machine will not operate. You'll have to change that filter. They're kept in CSR, and respiratory can get some as well. What you need to know is a lot of times this falls down onto the floor here and the suction machine will not work. So you first look at a machine, you want to make sure it's attached. There's a tube attached. It's now attached with a little pressure. Secondly, we want to take the tubing that goes to the patient. And how do you know the difference? Simple. You need a lot of tubing to get to the patient. And the patient connection is on the perimeter of the cup, where it says patient. It's very difficult to see, especially if you were in a dark room. Now you apply this to the 90-degree bend adapter here, give it a twist, and then you straighten out your hose, and it hooks up to the side of the suction machine for safekeeping. When you want to find out if your machine operates, you put a glove on, you turn on your suction machine, and you occlude the end and then watch the manometer, see if it gains pressure. In this case, you're getting no pressure whatsoever. So you have to find your leak. The leak I'm about to show you is a very common area that people forget. Dark room, blue writing on a blue cap, it gets overlooked constantly. You go back to the cover and you start to analyze it. This connection is solid, this connection is solid, but right here on the top this often gets overlooked. You take this little cover and you slide it over and you give it a good push. In most cases that's the answer to your problem. So once again we will check our work, turn our machine on, we'll look at our pressure manometer, and we will occlude. If it's working, it should gain pressure, and it is. You let go, try it a second time. Again, you now have a functioning piece of equipment. Often the question is asked, do these suction machines work with enough pressure to hurt somebody? And the answer is no. There's a locked-in pressure amount, and it's nowhere near high enough to do any damage. But there's a knob on here that says vacuum regulator. These machines are very old, and most of them do not work, if at all. This one turns a little bit both ways, but as you see, as I hold the pressure to its max, when I turn this gauge, nothing much is happening. You won't find many of these that will work, but there's never enough pressure to do any damage. When you use the plaque vac to do mouth care, this is where you'd hook it up to, right here. Same thing with the Yankar. When you do mouth suctioning on a patient, you hook it up right here. With the Yankar, you just have to put it in the patient's mouth and it will do what it needs to do. With the plaque vac, you need to include the venturi on the side, the little hole at the top, which will create a back pressure, allowing all the secretions to go directly into the cup. Now we're discussing disposal of a canister full of secretions. And the way you want to do that is, with gloves on, is you want to disconnect this tubing and cap it. drape it over the machine. You want to disconnect the vacuum end and cap it. Drape it over the machine. So now we're going to take the big end, the big cover off the cap without spilling secretions on ourselves, carefully, with gloves on, by the way. And then we're going to take this solidifier, we're going to open it up, and we're going to carefully pour the entire contents right into the jar. And within 2 to 3 minutes, after capping it again, all this liquid should be solidified. It took 2 minutes for this to solidify. It's not moving at all. At this point, when you're totally confident that that is solidified, the last thing you want to do is make sure all 3 corners of that cap are on tight and all little caps are down, pushed on tightly. Now you know you can put this in a red bag and be assured that nothing's going to leak out. When you put it into the red bag, you tie it up and you place it into the red hopper for disposal. And then you get a new canister and start all over again.